Good morning. Now, given I just had to compete with Stormzy, I want to hear a good morning from you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. That's better. Good energy. This is exciting. This is really exciting. This is the first, the only React Native conference in the UK ever. Yeah, ever. This is the largest gathering of people to talk about React Native in the UK ever. And that is amazing. That is really, really exciting. So welcome. Welcome to RNLConf 2024. And I want to start by saying thank you so much to all of you for coming. It means a huge amount to all of us at Theodo. It particularly means a lot to the Theodo React Native London team. And I'm sure it means a lot to the React Native London community, of which are probably in the audience today. Yeah, exactly. There we go. There's one. Any more? But it probably means a lot to be in a room of 250 people, brightest minds in React Native, I hope, to be all under one roof. So it's incredible. It's very exciting. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the React Native London Theodo team. So I just wanted to say, guys, you are amazing, inspiring, incredible for getting this up and running. You'll see them in orange T-shirts around the place, so please thank them because it is because of them that we are here. And to emphasize that, I was actually going to ask the audience, how many people do you think I have in my UK marketing team, given what it takes to get a first conference up off the ground, speakers, sponsors, selling tickets from scratch, 250 people, events, all of the stuff. I don't know if you've organized an event like this, but it's a lot. How many people do you think I have in my marketing team in the UK? 20. That was clearly planted. Anyone? Sorry? Two. That's a good guess. 5, maybe? 0. I know it's embarrassing, isn't it? But we're an engineering company. Yeah, at the moment, and we started doing this in July 0. Why do I tell you this? I tell you this because actually, that's what makes this conference quite special. This has been organized, everything, creatively, swag the lot, by engineers. This is a passionate project of engineers. This is a conference for engineers, by engineers. So it makes this a really genuine gathering. Makes this a good, genuine gathering. So look, I also want to thank our sponsors, Amazon in particular as our main sponsor. We wouldn't have been here without your sponsorship, so thank you so much. It really gave us the impetus to get up and go. And I know a lot of you are here today. I hope you have an amazing day. We appreciate your partnership. And also all the other sponsors who are here, product companies, partners of ours, competitors, you are all so welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sponsoring. You've all come from lots of different parts of the world, India, Brazil, the US, Bermondsey. That's a long way. A couple from Bermondsey. So look, thank you so much for being here and bringing this community together, because that's what it is. It's a community. I should probably talk about React Native very quickly. That's why we're here. So React Native, Theodo made a big bet on React Native in the first months that React Native was created. For those of you who don't know Theodo, we're about 750 people. We work across web, mobile, cloud, and data. But in mobile, we made a big bet on React Native. And it's been really interesting watching the evolution and maturity of React Native over the last nearly 10 years. And if I set that against the context of my own experience, I arrived at Theodo in 2020, and really my experience had been selling and delivering native mobile programs to banks, to energy companies, to healthcare institutions. And then joining a sort of pioneer of React Native, and I was reflecting on like where we are in the market today and where we've come from. And it's actually a really exciting moment, isn't it, for React Native today? It's really exciting for two reasons. One is probably a bit better known to everyone. React Native is being widely adopted by large enterprise businesses. It's not just the innovators, it's not just the scale-ups, it's not just the startups, it's the larger organizations that are adopting this, the big global companies. And not just large companies, but companies in highly regulated environments like banks and healthcare institutions, which is exciting. And we're actually just about to start a project. It's a React Native project for a healthcare company, front end. We're connecting into the NHS electronic patient record system, which will be fun. I don't know if anyone's here from the NHS, but now why do I say that? I say that because I was reflecting on the fact that I no longer get the questions that we had 2 years ago about performance, about security, about that extra 3% you get for customer experience, stability. You don't really get that anymore. So we're at a really interesting point. And for all of you here who made probably a big bet on React Native a number of years ago, we're at a point of maturity. But actually, it's not a maturity that is boring. It's a maturity that is exciting. Because actually, React Native, and this leads me on to my second point, React Native has shown itself to be an incredibly flexible technology. An incredibly flexible technology. Not only can you add native components, but you can actually totally modernize front-end experiences with React Native now. You can use React Native for mobile. You can use React Native for web, for TV, for a host of other devices and interfaces. And we're having some really interesting conversations, actually, with customers and partners at the moment about where React Native can go. So it's really exciting. And it's a defining moment, potentially, for the next era of front-end. We are calling it, at Theodo, universal first. So we've come from a mobile-first world. We're moving into a universal-first world. Who said we weren't good at marketing? That's what Mo's been talking about a lot and is going to talk about. And you'll hear it in the market. We talk about it quite a lot. So I'm going to get off the stage. It's been an absolute honor to open this up today. I'm going to hand over to a man who probably needs no introduction to some of you. He's on the circuit at our expense, going globe-trotting around the world, talking about React Native. But you know him well. He's going to be your MC for the day. Please, can you give it up? A warm round of applause for Theodo's very own Mo Khazali.
Good morning, React Native London. Everyone, this is surreal for myself and everybody who's been on the team. This has been a dream of ours for years now. And to finally be here today, standing with you all, I can't believe it, honestly. So this is a dream come true to finally take RNL and turn it into RNLConf. And I'm so excited to be here today, talking with you all, hosting you all. We're going to have a great day together. I want to start off by talking about the history of RNL. This is not a community that started today. It's a community that started back in 2016. It started off as a bunch of engineers huddled around a laptop. They didn't really have projectors very much. There is a projector there, but just ignore that. They were around the laptop. They had a lot of lightsabers back in the day. And they just chatted amongst themselves. React Native was not this mainstream technology. It was a very niche technology that a few people were really passionate about, and they got in together in a room. And slowly, over time, it started to grow. You might see some familiar faces in some of these photos. We've got Yanni Evicalio there, which is really cool. And you saw some of the pioneers within this industry be at RNL, speak at RNL. And RNL was a home community for a lot of people that moved into London. And over time, we saw more and more companies take interest, host RNL, and it grew and grew. And really, a lot of you will have seen these events. You might recognize some of the speakers that are there. And it's become what we have today. Every single month, we have 100 or so attendees coming through at our meetups, which is super exciting. And it really is a testament to how much the RN community in London has grown. And so over the years, since 2016, we have done 75 meetups. Our meetup.com group has got 3.6K members. That means 3,600 people have come to RNL events over the years. And we've got 2.7K Twitter followers, or X followers, whatever people call it this day. And a lot of feedback gets posted online. People really enjoy the events. They tweet about it. They blue sky about it. And it's awesome to see that. And I want to touch on a few of the events that we've held over the years, because I think these link us back here today to RNLConf. So when COVID hit, we went online. We started live streaming our events, and it gave us an opportunity to connect with the folks at Expo and say, do you want to do an Expo series? So we did an Expo series, and we did a number of talks. These talks are all over YouTube, and they kind of became the documentation for using some of the newest Expo features. And we had one particular gentleman who gave an online talk back then, who you might recognize who's going to be doing an in-person talk today, which is really cool. We're getting everything together. RNL 52 in June 2022, Mark Khazali came over to London and did his first ever talk at RNL. So the first video of Mark talking anywhere in the world was at RNL. RNL 60 Taz, who's going to be at 2 of our sessions today, gave a talk about how he's built Guild with React Native. And then in February of 2024, earlier this year, we held a panel about how React Native is used at big tech. This was the first of its kind, and it was a really cool discussion. If you see on the far right side, we brought Alex Hunt from Meta last minute. He was at the event. It was meant to be Ricardo and Lorenzo. And we said, hey, Alex, do you want to jump onto this panel? And he was like, no. And we dragged him in anyway, and it was a great time. He loved it, apparently. At least that's what he tells me. And we kept on going to a bunch of different places. Anisha Malde gave a talk from the Amazon team at the Amazon offices. And so this meetup really grew to epic proportions. And so today, RNL meetup becomes RNLConf. So the question on everyone's mind, why another React Native conference in 2024? Why haven't we done this for the last 9 years, 10 years now? Well, as Toby mentioned, React Native on mobile has reached a point of maturity. It's now proven itself that it can be a valuable and stable choice for building mobile apps. And not only has it been backed by the likes of Meta and Microsoft, but more recently this year we learned that Amazon's been secretly using React Native all along. And so that's really cool because it means it's a technology that's got 3 big tech backers out of the 5 big tech companies that people oftentimes name. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And when you look at the top charts of the App Store, you'll see that React Native apps are there in plenty. So you're building some of the best apps in the world using React Native. And I'm very excited to say that RNLConf is the first React Native conference happening after the new architecture was released. This was definitely planned with the Meta folks, right? No. And so this is a really interesting time for React Native because it means we're at the point of stability now. And we've really reached a point where the entire ecosystem is headed towards stability. And you see some really cool dividends coming out of the new architecture right away. So Jay Meistrich released a list demo that he built using only JavaScript. And it outperforms any other list that's out there for React Native, and it's just about 200 lines of code, which is exciting. And as some of you will have seen yesterday, Jay gave a workshop here at RNL, and he's going to be around all day, so you can go and chat with him. We've got some of these great minds in the React Native ecosystem in the room today. Building on top of the new architecture, there's a lot of cool ways emerging that you can interact with the native layer. Nitro modules came out a few months ago, and it's a completely new way to interact and build native modules. And so we're very excited to have Mike Grabowski from CallStack, the CTO of CallStack, giving a talk about something he's built with Nitro modules, which is really cool, and I know he's been working very hard on it. And also, we have Mark Khazali talking about Nitro modules, who is the creator of Nitro modules. So we've really got a lot of cool people in the room. Another really exciting thing that's happening these days is that the web compatibility of React Native is becoming incredibly mature. So whereas in the last few years we've had to rely on React Native Web, and it's treated web as a second-class citizen, we now see the initiative of React Strict DOM by the Meta team to make web a first-class citizen when you're trying to build universal apps. And it's not the only initiative to target web better. There's Web APIs initiative that the Microsoft team has launched, and it's a community effort. There's Web GPU support, Expo DOM. Why do I mention Expo DOM? Well, this is a really cool way to take an app that's built on the web and incrementally migrate it over to React Native. And it gives us a clear migration path to take web apps built in React and move them over to React Native. And of course, we have Cedric here today to talk about it. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of brilliant people in the room today. There's a lot of people that are gathered here today, and they're all going to be talking about the cutting edge of React Native with you all. And I think that's an incredibly exciting prospect. And so what we're really seeing is we're seeing this vision of universal React Native and universal React come to fruition. So where you could use React Native on iOS, you could use it on Android, now you can use it to build TV apps, and we're seeing this become more and more mainstream. You can use it to build web apps, and you can also use it to build desktop apps. Now, If you go into the Keynote section of the conference where where you all came through, myself and a colleague of mine, James, who's standing in the back, spent some time talking about Universal apps and where we think the state of Universal is today. So you will have a copy of this within your welcome bags, but please go chat to James because he loves talking about architecture. Like, the guy is obsessed with architecture. He was working on this at like 12 a.m. because he was just having fun. So go and talk to James. I'm sure you'll have a great chat. But we really do think this is where the entire ecosystem is going, and it's incredibly exciting. And so with this amazing lineup of speakers, with this amazing crowd, with all of you and some of the brightest minds in React Native, we really do believe it when we say that RNLConf 2024 will be sunrising React Native.